This is second year. So welcome everybody to our coffee break, our tips and tricks. So today Yannick's going to be showing us how to manage exchange rates and updates in SAP Business One. And Yannick, I'm just going to transfer you there we go.
Okay, share. Okay, so everybody's seeing my screen?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, okay. So good afternoon, everyone. So to manage and to update the exchange rate in SAP, we'll start with a few basic settings that we when we do the first the implementation. That's the first settings that we are doing. It's to configure what will be the exchange rate and the currency we'll use. But in the system initialization, you have also the first thing that we set. It's the exchange rate method of posting. Okay, so direct and indirect. So direct, it's I think it's most of people they are used to use the direct method because it's $1 US, it's 135, let's say 130 Canadian. Indirect, instead of multiplying, it will divide. So $1 Canadian, it's 0.77 cents around US dollar. So it's important to understand that because in SAP it changed the way that it's calculating the exchange. So we'll see when we do the. I think people they are I would say 99% of our customer they are using the direct method like I'm having here. And if we go then after that into the administration module, then probably you're already aware, but the exchange rate updates, you do it here on a daily basis if you want to have, you see the daily rate, and that's the direct method 129, 1.51. So we will always multiply the currency, the foreign currency by that rate, not divided by this rate. So this is important to know how the system, why there's two methods. It's just the way that people they are used to. Sometimes it's useful when you have a subsidiary. You have to use always the same one method on one company and the other method on the other one. So sometimes it could be useful, but I would say probably you are all using the direct method like it is here. So you can settle the rate. You can settle there's as I said, every morning someone, or maybe before the end of the day, each day someone has to enter it manually. That's the basic way to do it. If you don't have an exchange rate before people start to enter the foreign currency transaction, they ain't going to be able to do it. They will get an error message, so it has to be entered like every day. Some customer they are doing just on a monthly average rate, so you can settle the rate just by selecting. You see set rate for selection criteria. The criteria is the date from to. Here, by default, it will select the month that I'm in. So by default, it will always open the month that we are based on the date of the system. So and it will select the first and the last day of the month. If we want to have the same rate for every day and not break our head, we can use an average rate, and then we do that once a month, and it's done. So if I put 150 here and 1.30 here, it will update all my rates for the each and every day. Click update. There's two buttons here at the bottom right of the screen, auto export and auto import. It looks like it's doing something really automatically, but this is not the case. It's more for a company who has multiple database, multiple company, and they just settle the rate like here. In one company, we can select all the rates for the month. We can do an auto export. Auto export, what it's doing is feeding a table in the database. We click yes, and when we switch to another database, like I have another one here open under the same name, but that doesn't matter. And I let's expand that, easier to see. Let's do it, and we do select the same period. We do import. You will import everything from the one export to that specific table. This could be interesting to save sometimes when you have multiple company, but at the end it's not like you see it's not doing anything. Okay, here I'm in French, but I'll switch to the English here. Auto export, auto import. Sometimes maybe people they think it's automatically updated from Canada Bank or whatever, but it's not the case. It's just to transfer the information between two databases. So there's two tools. There's no tools coming out of the box from SAP to update the rate. We have to use add-ons to be able to do that. Probably some of you, they have already B1 up, Buoyant B1 up, the Business One usability package.
Yeah, we have a few customers today that have that, that have the Buoyant, yeah.
So it's probably all settled already, or if it's not, there's an interesting tool to update. I think that's the easiest one because it gives some option. Also, we can select the schedule. We can select from where we from where we want to update the rates. So most of the time it's the Bank of Canada. And that's it. That's very easy to set up, and it will update the rate every day. There's another one also for customer who don't have the B1 up. It's a small add-on that Forgestic have developed, and it could be installed. It runs under a schedule on the database, and it will automatically update the rate of the previous day from the Bank of Canada, the closing rate. So this is not really hard to install, but it's really useful for a company who needs to have these rates being updated every day. So this is the way that we update the rates. Another setting also, we'll see that when we switch to the conversion, you see the gain and the tool that calculates the gain and the loss. But before that, there's if I go back into the administration, systemization, company's detail. When we implement company, we have to specify will be the local currency. But there's also a system currency. So system currency, it's not necessarily for every company. It's more for the use of a head office with a specific currency, and they want to get the subsidiary located somewhere else. Let's say there's the head office is in the US and I'm in Canada, so all my local currency transaction will be in Canadian, and my US head office would like to get all the numbers, all the figures, the statement, everything in their own currency. So in that way, local currency will be Canadian and system currency will be US. So each and every transaction that we will do, then it will be always converted into the system currency. So that's the way the system works. And the third currency we have, it's the foreign currency. We don't have to settle here because it's through the GL account settings, and where we tell the system when we do the transaction, we select the currency we create the transaction, and automatically that field that the amount of the foreign currency will be kept into a specific field with the rate and with the proper currency code also. So there's always a trace of three currency in SAP: local, system, and foreign currency. Default currency, it's not really about this one. It's just the default when we create a new GL account. By default, it will take the all currency by default, but it's at the chart of account level when we create that we select the you already know that. It's the currency we see here. We usually have the bank account that you see the bank account. If it's US, it has to be in US because otherwise SAP will when we'll do the bank reconciliation, it ain't gonna be if I don't set a US account, it will by default take the local currency. So to try to do a reconciliation with Canadian amount with a US bank, it's gonna be quite impossible to do. Receivable also, the receivable and payable, it's not mandatory, but we strongly suggest we impose even impose the customer to really separate the two currency to avoid having a problem to sometimes to reconcile the aging report to have reports that is easy to match with the GL number. Sometimes it's better to have them. It's strongly suggested to have that separated by currency for the receivable and the payable, not to mix the currency all together. So in the chart of account, that's one thing. So it's pretty much all the basic settings that we have to play around with the currency. The only thing that I've maybe this morning I didn't mention to the other session, it's when we settle the currency into the administration setup financial, we have the currency there. That's where we are creating these currencies, so we can create as much as we have as we need. And also it's here that we settle also if there's always a rounding amount. You see if there's always sometimes discrepancy when we receive the payment. You see a customer, they owe us some money, and at the end there's a variance on the exchange because it's paying in US and then it's recorded in Canadian or whatever. Sometimes we can have a minor discrepancy or variance into the when we post the incoming payment, or if we do an outgoing payment as well. So it's here that we settle. You see the maximum that we are allowed just to not to bother with the variance. So up to $20, I don't want to do any specific journal entry. I just let the system to post the variance into a specific account if we need to. So this is just a setting. Sometimes it's not necessarily used with our customers. It's just sometimes just because they don't know. The other thing also, it's on the GL account determination into the same section. It's really that this is mandatory. GL account determination, but there's always you see for every module sales purchasing, you have the realized gain or realized exchange difference loss. This is really important to have these accounts because when we post a transaction, let's say a payable at 1.30 and when we pay it, let's say at 1.29, so the variance, that's the account that the system will use to post the difference between the two on the exchange. So a gain or a loss. So these accounts are, so we can specify a specific account. That's what SAP is built for. We'll see on the next topic related to the tool to calculate the exchange at the end of the month. But you will see we can separate the sales account gain or loss, purchasing account gain or loss, and the general account GL account, so the gain or loss. For we can separate into 6 different GL accounts if we want to have more detail or of the source of the gain or loss on the exchange. So this is pretty much all the settings. On at the end of the month, the things that normally we should run to calculate the gain, the unrealized gain, unrealized loss. It's we have into financial the exchange rate difference. So you see there's one that looks similar: exchange rate difference, conversion difference. Conversion difference, it's really to manage the system currency for our head office. That's the one we're gonna use to, okay, let's say do the conversion for that purpose. He ain't gonna change our figures in Canadian value. He ain't gonna do nothing else than to reevaluate the system currency for my head office. It's not really used a lot because I don't. There's not a lot of company with their head office would like to get the figures into their currency. So, but the one that we are using at the end of the month or at the end of the year, that's the exchange rate differences. That's the one that the customer should use. So here, just to explain quickly, the business partner, as you know, we cannot post any transaction directly into the control account of AP and AR. We have to go through the business partner account. So what he's doing in reality, he ain't gonna change his balance. You see a customer, his statement will always be in his own currency, but behind in Canadian value, it will be reevaluated based on the current rate. So he's doing, the system will post a journal entry into the business partner accounts to modify the AR and the AP balance at the end of the month or at the end of the year. So, but we have to go through the business partner to post the transaction. The GL, usually we don't select them all. We select, let's select the cash account and a loan in foreign currency. Sometimes you have if we have anything, but the rest, let's see, sometimes there's a lot of transaction posted into the stock GL account, but we don't do any exchange on inventory account. This is not according to our accounting standard here in Canada, but maybe on some other countries that's the way they work. But here we don't convert the value of our inventory based on the current exchange, even if it's bought 2 months ago. We keep the original value all the time. So let's see, we select a cash account. Here you have enable opening arrow. I suggest to always leave it like this because we'll see why it's important just to keep this one. It's useful to do a further analysis. We'll see that on the next when we'll execute the report. Save on select. Sometimes it's just a matter if we want to keep for future use unselected row, because there's no obligation to post all the gain and the loss. If we want to save the one that we didn't select, we can save it. If we don't want, just a matter of sometimes it's not necessary to save it. If we decide not to post it, there's probably a good reason. Exclude gain from due after that. So these two next filter, it's only filter. There's no obligation to enter any dates there. But it's just let's say if you have a customer who you want to convert, you have an outstanding amount to receive from that customer at the end of January, but it's not due before the end of August. Let's see, he's under dating. So why to record right now a gain or a non-realized gain or unrealized loss? Because see, it's going to change so much at the end. You don't know what that means, because he's owing you only that in August. So in August, and so you will record gain loss like every month, and at the end maybe so it's just a matter of a choice. There's no obligation to enter anything here. Due dates, the same thing. We can be a little bit more precise, just to focus on the one within a range of due dates. Okay, so only the one that was due before today and until the end of, let's say, just convert the one that's due until the end of February, by example, because it's more current. Execution date, this one for sure it's mandatory, because the system needs to know at what date we want to convert our things. Consider reconciliation date. If we don't select, by example, if a customer, let's say a customer, he has paid all his bill as of today, so it's reconciled in SAP reconciliation. It's not necessarily a manual reconciliation. It's a document applied against another, so a payment against an invoice. It's recorded as a reconciliation. So if we don't select that, then it won't show up at the end of January, because it's reconciled as of today. So we have the option to include the one already paid today or not. So most of the time we want to go back and to reflect the real value at the end of the month, no matter if it's paid or not as of today. So but this is an option. Obviously, we select the currency. We can select them all if we want. We can do one by one, but it will mix all the lines with different currency, but it's not necessarily a problem. So and here, as I said, you can select you can have 6 different GL accounts if we want. Again, our loss for each type of transaction, AR, AP, and GL. So we can have 2 accounts for each type of transaction. There's no obligation for that. Most of the time, customer, they have one gain and one loss account. So that's it. So that's the selection criteria. We run it, and then we can see all the gain and losses that the system has reported. So we see sometimes, you see there's some amount that looks not too bad. There's some other that looks really strange. Cash at bank clearing. I'm showing that because it happens with customers. Sometimes we receive call and say, how comes that there's such amount? It's just that he's tracking all the outstanding amount in the original currency, and he compares to the Canadian value. It's always recorded like this in SAP. So if there's a so he's taking the 351 times 135 and he compares to the actual value, and there's a variance of 180,000, which is really, really strange. So that's the reason why we say enable opening row detail, because if we want to see the detail of that, we just need to double click on this, and we'll see all these amounts where they are coming from. So that's useful. We can see sometimes easily that okay, this is a little bit strange. There's a big gain here. Why? It's a very old transaction, so it's still there. It's not reconciled. It's not so. It's still there. So let's see. We can go into the journal entry, and then after that into the. It's an incoming payment at 1.12. So right away we have our answer. It's no more 1. It's no more 1.12. It's 1.35. So it's a big gap. And we can spot also other transaction where it's really strange, like this one. You see 3,000, and in Canadian it's worth less. Which is maybe in 2013. I don't remember, but maybe Canadian dollar was worth more than the US. I'm not sure, but maybe just a matter of someone did a mistake entering the transaction. As you say, you can always change the we can always change the exchange rate. So the exchange rate was at 0.77, which is not necessarily realistic. So maybe it was just a mistake by entering the transaction. So that's the way sometimes to track where these numbers are coming from, and to see maybe there's here I have got a bunch of entry, but normally you should have any maybe a lot of plus and minus, but not with large amount like this. So when it's done, here you can put specific remark, or if you do auto remark, SAP will build his own predefined remark into the GL entry. This is a choice depending on the way that you prefer to record these type of transaction. You can record at the end of the month and get them reversed automatically. So it will get recorded at the end of January, and you want to reverse that at the beginning of February, because you just want to keep always the original value in your book, and for your income statement you do it at the end of the month, but you want just to reverse it, just a matter of keeping the original value all the time. So, and yeah, as you see here, there's a customer and vendor where he found the system find outstanding amount and variance on the exchange rate. This is in euro. So if I don't want to post them all, so I can select this one. I'll keep it aside because I need to do some research. You can save also. You can save. You don't need to post that right away. But if you want just to run it, save it, and for future references or future analysis before to post, you can always do a save. So let's say we select these 4 transactions, and then you just need to add it. That's it. That's done. So that tool, you will see, it will post a journal entry, 1 per line. You see, we have selected 4 lines, so it will generate 4 different journal entry. Sometimes, personally, I would prefer to see only 1 big journal entry with everything all together, but that's the way it's built. There's probably a good reason for that inside SAP. But sometimes also for analysis, it could be easier when we do a GL analysis if we want to do to analyze the reason why the balance is high or low, whatever. So this is a journal entry per transaction, as you see. So he's posting again, and as you see here, technology, the customer, it's posted into his account for the game. So that's the tool that normally for customer who has a lot of foreign exchange transaction should run normally at the end of every month, especially when the exchange are volatile on the market. So I think it's pretty much that there's not see, I've seen the settings where I see how to manage the gain and the loss and to play with the tool of converting the amount. For the rest, it's pretty much that how we manage the currency into SAP.
Thanks, Yannick. Does anybody have any questions? And
Tracy, I do. It's Catherine here.
Hey, Catherine, how's it going?
Good.
Good. Go ahead.
Okay, 2 questions. First, when we were updating the currency, like say we updated it on the 5th of the month, and from the 1st to the 4th, there was a different rate. So we updated and it updated it for the whole month. What happens to the transactions that were done, like say on the 1st to the 4th?
It will keep it will keep the original value all the time.
Okay.
It will be, so you ain't gonna change anything from the past.
Okay. Yeah, that was good. And then second question, when you do your exchange rate difference and you have a gain or a loss on a customer, do you leave that in the system or do you reverse it, or how does that work, especially when it's done at year end?
Me personally, I prefer to leave it like this, because in reality, at the end of every period, it will calculate. So if you record a gain at the end of the following month, it will calculate only the variance based on the exchange that you use at the end of your fiscal year. If you want to reverse that, then you will calculate the gain or the loss based on the original exchange rate. That's the only difference he's doing. So at the end, it's just there's no obligation to reverse that. It's just a matter of which rate that you want the system to keep.
Okay, so I have a specific question then. So if I have a gain or loss on a particular customer, and then I go into the BP and I look at their balance, and I look at all the unreconciled transactions, it's still sitting there.
Oh yeah, definitely. As you see, we'll see here if I go my the technology account balance.
Yeah, account balance.
So we will see display and reconcile transaction. So you will see my account. He calculate all the outstanding balance on the foreign currency, and at the end, it just record the exchange variation in local currency, but you see the balance still in euro. It's still the same.
Exactly. Yeah, it doesn't affect anything on their balance. So technically, you just leave it there.
Yeah. There's no reason why to reverse that unless you want to keep always the original Canadian value of the transaction. But normally, when you post when you fill you finalize your financial statement at the end of the year, that's the calculation that the auditors will do anyway. They will keep that into your book. This is part of your year end. So why reverse that? There's no really reason to do.
Okay, because when you reverse it, it takes it back out again. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I just wondered, because when they sit there like that, I didn't know if there was any way to remove them from the account, but that's fine. Okay.
Mm.
That's what I needed. Those are my questions.
Okay.
Thanks, Catherine. Yannick, I've got a question from Ben. If we see a wrong exchange rate was used, is there any easy way to change or update it?
If we see a wrong,
if you see that a wrong exchange rate was used, is there any way to change or update it?
that's the only way. That's the only way. It's to recalculate through the tool that I've just show you. It's,
Okay.
unless you cancel the original transaction and you redo it. Normally, if you can do that, I would prefer to do that, just to redo the transaction. But if it's too complicated because it was posted, paid, and everything, reconcile, whatever, or it's too old, I think the only way is to run that tool and to reconvert it as a decent rate.
Okay. What I'll do, Ben, I'll send you the recording of this because it goes on the Forgestic YouTube page. I'll send it to you because I know you did come in a little later than the others, so I should have it maybe by Monday. I'll send it to you. All right. Are there any other questions?
Oui. Hello, Yannick, c'est Michel. I got a question for you. One of my database go get the exchange rate automatically from Bank of Canada every time we log in. Do you have a way to stop that? What is the way to stop it? Because I know we did it for the other database, but that one is still there.
Oh yeah, this is I think you have B1 up running probably. That's
yes.
the
Yes,
so
we do.
yeah you can disable that, no problem. It's just that you just have to go on the settings of B1 up and to disable.
You could send an email to the support desk or go on the portal and just ask them, and they'll get someone to help you out with it.
Perfect. Thank you, Tracy.
You're welcome. Any other questions? No more questions? Yeah. All right. Well, thanks a lot, Yannick. And just a reminder to everybody, for those who came in late, so Forgestic has a little module that they have that does currency conversion automatically. And for those that run on Boyum B1 Up does a lot of different things, but there's a portion inside the B1 Up that also has an automatic currency exchange module. So you just have to, again, like I just told Michelle, send an email to the support desk with the question, and we'll get someone to help you out with that. All right. So thanks, everyone. Thanks a lot, Yannick, and have a great weekend.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.